Joe. Today, thank you. Now going over to the political part podcast, you have Biden on a hot mic saying taxpayers should pay for the Francis Scott Key Bridge, and the U.S. government just gave him, was it $60 million already as a starting fee. Now, interestingly enough, one would think either the drunken, not to be cliche, but I was joking, it might be a drunk ship captain who had caused this, which, again, maybe that's dark humor because, again, I believe some people passed for the incident, and obviously that's terrible and it's sad. Now, when it comes to the ship captain, I mean, there's multiple people that are usually involved from a liability perspective, but I mean, you have the shipping company, you maybe have the manufacturer of some of the safety equipment that failed or the generator that failed on board. You also have the insurance company because, again, a lot of these companies are insured, and insurance is an underwriter. So there are a lot of people who are, in theory, liable for this, where, again, they made a mistake, it should come out of their pockets. And again, this is also why would the federal government pay for it? It is a local bridge. But again, we also live in a modern society where the thought is, oh yeah, the feds will just take care of everything, which I have yet to find an instance where they actually do something quickly, more efficiently, and better and cheaper than the private sector. But if you have an example, I would love to hear it. Now, this was reported thanks to Cat Turd on X Twitter, who, thankfully his profile picture is not accurate in this case, I'm appreciative of that, it is quite literally just a cat with glasses. And Cat Turd said, quote, "The bridge collapsed at 1:30 a.m. By 8 a.m. in the morning, all officials had done an investigation and determined it was just an accident. 4 hours later, Biden hit the mic and said taxpayers would pay for the full rebuild. Nothing to see here, pull my finger," unquote, getting 1.5 million views and 58,000 likes. Which, again, I can't think of a shorter span of time for an investigation. I mean, one would think you'd have to retrieve some of the diagnostics materials from the ship, very similar to an airplane. I mean, you have the black box, where again, that's where all the safety, and ironically, it's actually, I believe, bright orange. So to say, if the plane crashes, you actually see it's a bright orange box, but the term kind of stuck. I mean, that's an instance where you have a device on the airplane that collects all the data, and this little capture device is very heavily armored, and it's actually protected. And you take that device and you can analyze that data and look at, hey, what part of the airplane went wrong? What instance happened here? And again, modern ships have more electronics on them than, a data center in some cases. I can't help but think, probably would take a forensic scientist a little time to actually just look over this data. Because, again, maybe the rudder just had an issue. Maybe it was a false part. The lights did go off 2 times and it's, crashing into the bridge and turning into the bridge. Was it just a generator failed and the backup didn't work? Or did main power not work? I can't help but think, yeah, that was like the shortest investigation ever. And again, the U.S. we're $34 trillion in debt. I keep driving this home because, again, the bills are going to come up due someday. And granted, might just sell off Hawaii, but realistically, foreign countries will only keep loaning us money for so long, much longer, until they say, when will they ever pay us back? Now, one of the first comments comes from USMC Lady Vet, and she says, quote, "The only difference in a conspiracy and the facts is about 6 months. We will be proven correct. This is not just an accident." I'm getting 103 likes. Let's see here. Scrolling down more and more, you have Ruthie Brown saying, quote, "Shouldn't the shipping company that hit the bridge pay to rebuild it?" I'm getting 48 likes. Which, yeah, either them or, again, they have insurance. So, again, that's what insurance is for. Not when bad things happen, that's when insurance is supposed to step in and help you out. Scrolling down, you have Rodney Ghost saying, quote, "They can't find the owner of the cocaine in the most monitored and secure place on the planet, but now they know within hours what happened to a bridge," unquote, or ... unquote. They got 73 likes, which, again, the Secret Service is either inept or corrupt. But again, there is a baggie of cocaine found in the White House, which has more security cameras and more security personnel than, again, any place on the planet. And yet they said, oh yeah, we don't know how it got there. So who do you believe? Do you believe the White House security team saying, yeah, we don't know how it got in here? Or do you think they're corrupt because it was obviously Hunter Biden's? Scrolling down, you have Darla Shine saying, quote, "Ukrainian driving it, closing the corridor that most of the fuel runs through to the East Coast," and getting 11 likes. Let's see here. Scrolling down, you have Duck Duck USA, which A+ marketing. The profile picture is in fact of a duck with a American top hat, and it has a picture of a train being derailed, and the text says "build," and you have a picture of a plane with doors flying off. It says "back," and then you have the boat running into the bridge, and it says "better." It has Biden in a wheelchair at a podium say, "quote, are you better off than 4 years ago?" Which is, again, is a cliche thing politicians always say, which, again, is just something you ask yourself. I mean, are you better off? And realistically, how much does the president really control? Some things some things quite a bit. Some teams, yeah, I would argue there's also a cultural decay hurting America as well, which, again, there are ripple effects to be sure. Now, that got 154 likes. King Troll 6 says, quote, yet we don't know who planted the pipe bombs on January 6th, who left the cocaine in the White House, who leaked the Dobbs opinion, Epstein client list, but they can wrap up this investigation in record time, unquote, getting 433 likes. Kyle Becker says, quote, the U.S. government has an incredible pattern of stating things with, quote, 100% certainty before conducting any serious investigation. The truth comes out days or weeks later, and it rarely comports with the official version of events. When the government starts telling the truth, then it will deserve our credulity, getting for 847 likes. Yeah, Planet Memes saying, quote, the government never gets things done that quickly. We can't even count votes in under a week, unquote, getting 572 likes. Let's see, I'll do one or two more here. You have Linda Hates GOP Thugs saying, quote, Republicans bitch if the response isn't fast enough, and now it's too fast. MAGA is a bunch of whiny, complaining snowflakes. Snowflake emoji and melting face emoji, unquote, which I didn't even know they had a melting face emoji to begin with. And, interestingly enough, a contrarian statement, which is interesting because, again, more opinions the better. Life gets a little bit boring when you're in an echo chamber. That got 1.1 thousand likes. Which, again, I would love to see the boat diagnostics. I'd love to see the threat. I can't fathom them finding all that data that quickly. Now, you also have American 357 saying, quote, compared to response to East Palestine, unquote, getting 242 likes. Salty Goat says, quote, the entire thing reeks of BS. There's no way they can make that determination in that amount of time unless it was a predetermination, unquote, getting 809 likes. So overwhelming critiquing of the administration of the government in this response. And a lot of people are speculating, how much will it cost? Now, you also have the Feds start off by giving them $60 million, which, again, that's just a drop in the bucket. This is going to cost quite a lot more. Now, this according to Jake Perez at LinkedIn News, they say the Transportation Department has provided what it calls a $60 million down payment towards the initial cost of rebuilding the collapsed Francis Key Scott Bridge in Baltimore. 6 workers who were fixing the roadway in the middle of the span of the bridge were killed after a container ship wrecked into the support column. The tragedy has disrupted supply chains, forcing trucks that used to transport hazardous materials over the bridge to reroute. Shipping container firms are also scrambling to adjust. Repairing the bridge is expected to cost at least $400 million and take 18 months or more to construct, which, yeah, that is a pretty penny. Granted, thanks to inflation, it's like $5 in 1990 dollars. Kidding, partially. Inflation is the silent thief. So it'll be interesting to see. And if you're in construction, get ready to submit your bids, because this is going to be a huge bidding war, and hopefully it doesn't cost exponentially. Hopefully it isn't exponentially expensive. And again, do you think, again, this happened in Baltimore? Should this be something the city or state pays for, or should the federal government pay for it? Or should the shipping company pay for it, or the insurance company of the shipping company pay for it, or the captain of the ship? Presumably, I can't think. I would think it'd be, the shipping company, or perhaps. I mean, I can't. Even if some astronomically, even if something that you couldn't traditionally account for, like let's say this is a nation-state attack where they hacked the ship somehow, which again, malicious hackers can do fantastically horrifying things. That could be a thing, but even in that case, a lot of these companies get cybersecurity insurance for that very reason. So, I mean, I can't help but suspect the insurance company's probably going to be on the hook, and maybe their underwriter. But let me know, who do you think should pay for this? And do you think this will become a big political issue for the upcoming election? Will it be even a debate between Trump and Biden, if they do have a debate? Or is this going to be one of the main things where, oh yeah, the government just writes another check and people forget about it and tax on a couple $100 million onto the already astronomically frightening $34+ trillion debt? As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.